It's the autumn racing season at Aqueduct Racetrack as we peer out into South Ozone Park, Queens, a real working class ethos and certainly a melting pot regarding the neighborhood, and the same can be said for the clubhouse here at Aqueduct Racetrack. We love that communal experience, one of a kind here at the Big A. And Jason Blewett, Richard Migliori, welcome you to this latest edition of Aqueduct Insider. Another nice day, and it was good to be back on the turf.
Yeah, it was, and have the track fast and pretty honest, I thought. I'm still kind of taken with your open, though. Ethos. Yeah. I like that. That was a strong word.
I appreciate that.
I'm very, very impressed.
I try to be the host with the most.
You are. I tell you what. I'm not kidding.
All right. Good. We're starting the show out on a high note. It can only go downward from here. Now, let's dive into headlines, and in fact, we'll go up in class, if you will, as we have grade 1 quality to talk about through and through with 3 major bullets, beginning with California Chrome, who went a half and 50-1 out at Los Al, and we're getting closer to his 5-year-old debut.
Yeah, I mean, he's making steady progress. There's slow, steady works, but I'm sure that his trainer is definitely happy with the way things are going and progressing. I mean, he went to 3/8, he went to half. Now I'm sure he'll go a little bit quicker half, and before you know it, he'll be working 5/8, 3/4, and we'll be seeing him. And I'm curious to see if he comes back with the same verve that he had as a 3-year-old. His 4-year-old year, basically a wash as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, let's hope that there's no lasting sort of negative effects from a wishy-washy 4-year-old season, because there will be room and eyes will be on him starting 2016. And it's kind of neat as a 5-year-old, and not to spend too much time. We're just not used to seeing a 2-time Classic winner, in this case a Derby and a Preakness, come back as a 5-year-old. It just doesn't happen anymore.
You know, it's an interesting question, something we should look into. When was the last time a Kentucky Derby winner ran till he was 5? I guess it would be Funnyside, but he was a gelding.
Right,
a whole horse,
sure.
Right? Yeah, a whole horse. And it's interesting, too, Shared Belief's starting to get cranked up again. And last year, in the beginning of the year, it looked like it was going to be a budding rivalry. It never really panned out. Obviously, Shared Belief injured. California Chrome went off world traveling, but maybe this year we'll get to see that rivalry blossom.
And we do like those geldings, and maybe one of the more popular ones over the last decade, the hard-hitting Private Zone, who aborted his own work. I mean, this is a horse that's had a history of being kind of a horse that goes to the beat of his own drum, and I guess those tactics were on display this morning at Palm Meadows.
Yeah, he's always done, some quirky things. Even in his early races in Panama, he'd basically open up, and he was so much better than the horses, he would basically prop and let the field run by him and then take off again. Or maybe he just said, you know what, they keep changing trainers. You know what, I'll take it in my own hooves, and I'll train myself.
Now, Brian Lynch, the new trainer of record, it feels like Private Zone, at least in this country, has had about a half a dozen guys, but it'll be good to have that old multiple Grade 1 winner back with us in the Big Apple, and he will need his best. Brian Lynch still hopeful and actually confident they can make the Cigar Mile next Saturday with Private Zone, despite the shenanigans down in Florida. But Christophe Comant gearing up for a two-pronged attack with both Tonalist and Red Vine.
Yeah, Red Vine ran really big in the Breeders' Cup Mile, just no match for Liam's Map. And Tonalist, well, he's proven over a mile. Second in the Met Mile, he won the Westchester, and I got to think he's going to be pretty tough. He worked them together, kind of one of those Todd Pletcher type moves, keeps those good horses in the bridle. And I think post positions are going to be extremely important in this Cigar Mile. If Tonalist draws to the outside, it's going to be a big advantage for him.
No kidding. You don't want him down towards the inside trying to grind away. Let him get into the race under his own power. John Velasquez has fit him to a T, and it's been a learning process throughout the year. In fact, had Johnny V in action today. He won a couple yesterday at Aqueduct, and most eyes were on him and a 2-year-old by giant surprise. They were the horses to beat in the Notebook, but up first, the turf horses in the Arty Schiller. See what happened. John Embrial with the call.
And the rough. From the inside, it's a plain view. Lubash was away well. Skyflight is down at the rail. Now moving up is English Minister. Under the line with Plainview in front and English Minister racing in second. Aztec Brave is next in third, with Skyflight down at the rail in fourth. Reload has gotten into a good position in fifth, just 4 lengths from the front. Lubash to his inside in sixth. Then it's a break of 2 lengths to Vision Perfect in seventh. On the inside is El Jefe Grande in eighth, gap of 3 to the 2 trailers, Any Given Royal, and Slip By. The field is midway up the backstretch, and it's Plainview in front here by a length. Aztec Brave runs in second, And then it's English Minister and Skyflight heads apart third and fourth. Reload runs in fifth. And then it's Lubash down on the inside in sixth, followed by Vision Perfect and El Jefe Grande. Farther back, it's Slip By and Any Given Royal. The quarter won in 24 seconds, the half mile in 49 and 1 over the yielding turf. And now they're moving around the far turn, and it is Plainview still there. Plainview by a half length. Aztec Brave on the outside in second, 2.5 lengths to English Minister, and Skyflight is down at the rail. In the stretch now, Aztec Brave on the outside to poke ahead in front of Plainview. Aztec Brave is the leader. Then Plainview. Here's Skyflight gaining ground on the outside. Aztec Brave in front. Skyflight, one last try as they come down for the finish. Aztec Brave and Skyflight, they hit the wire together. Skyflight or Aztec Brave, a photo finish in the Arty Schiller Stakes.
Big late run, a real lengthening of the stride late for Skyflight, who worked out a very good ride here beneath Joel Rosario.
I mean, just he did everything absolutely right, and he needed to do everything absolutely right to get it done, and just wins by the barest of margins. But even the way he came out from behind horses, Jason, that nice, steady kind of slide out into the clear without breaking any momentum, and then, of course, the patented Joel Rosario finish.
Looks so good, so strong, and just so compact and tight. Felt bad for Aztec Brave, who was not slowing down at the wire, but the win in the Arty Schiller belonged to this winner, and we'll send it down to Joel and Richard Migliori.
Joel, Skyflight looked like you were pretty confident you were going to get there as tight as the finish was.
Yes, very confident. He's the kind of horse that, like, he see the horse in front, he come and get it. And every time he just see the horse in front, he just keep on coming. He don't want to get beat.
Now, this is the first time you ever rode this horse. How difficult is it to, when the first time you ride a horse, to get along with him like this?
Yeah, well, just look the form, see how he like to run, his style, and then you just look and see, what he does in the race, and that helped me, doing, better.
Joe, I love watching you ride. I think you're one of the strongest finishers out there. Is that something that you take a lot of pride in, your strength in the finish?
Well, you got to go with the horse. You have a good horse that, give a little help of a thing. So thank you for that, from you, to say that. It's nice to say that from you.
Well, congratulations. Keep it up.
Thank you.
It's not easy to get Joel to smile and or crack up, and he's certainly brings a good amount of levity and professionalism to the jockey colony on the New York circuit. And again, I think he's far more than the sum of his parts, but all of his great assets were on display, basically in that entire Arty Schiller.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely the perfect way to say it. All of his many abilities were on display, from the way he got his position going forward, the way he eased himself out from behind horses. And then again, to me, one of the biggest things that makes him stand out as a rider is that strength in the finish. I mean, he just is such a powerful finisher. For me, it's fun to watch. I get a kick out of it.
All right, Mark Casse, by the way, the winning trainer. He's had a good few weeks on the turf in the Big Apple. He's got a pretty good New York bred by Tis Wonderful named What a Wonderful World, who we're fans of. And let's see, speaking of state breds, about the New York bred 2-year-olds, and we get back to Johnny V, Todd Pletcher, and Mike Rapoli with their horse Sudden Surprise on the outside, who is an overwhelming favorite in the Notebook.
And they're off. And it was a good beginning for Sudden Surprise from the extreme outside. He's going out for the lead with Love That Jazz. Love That Jazz pokes ahead in front. Sudden Surprise is second by a length and a half. And then it's No Entiendo and Steve's Image, followed by Dr. Shane and a gap of 4 to My Man Al, who trails the field in 6th. Love That Jazz leads by a half length over the big favorite Sudden Surprise. The opening quarter was run in 22 seconds, and now they begin the run around the far turn. Sudden Surprise on the outside of Love That Jazz. The two of them are stride for the lead. They've got a length and a half on Steve's Image in third. Then it's Dr. Shane in fourth, and a big break to the two trailers, No Entiendo and My Man Al. They come for the top of the stretch. Sudden Surprise now grabs the lead from Love That Jazz. It's Sudden Surprise in front, Love That Jazz at the rail. Then Dr. Shane, and on the outside it's Steve's Image. Sudden Surprise in front by 2. Love That Jazz down at the rail, and Dr. Shane on the outside. Sudden Surprise in front. Sudden Surprise at 1-5 wins the Notebook Stakes. Dr. Shane got second over Love That Jazz.
The aptly named son of Giant Surprise. Sudden Surprise has been just that, and he's been very professional as well from day number one. Now 4 for 5 during his 2-year-old season.
And out of that mare, Ready and Good, well, Giant Surprise, he went to stud Ready and Good. He's really excelling at his second career, and I just love the way Johnny Velasquez rode this horse. Now, he was the best horse, but he rode him like he was the best horse. Let him run away from the gate, and one of the things Johnny does so well is getting a horse into a rhythm and keeping him in that frame, just that perfect balanced rhythm, and allowing them to continually go forward.
The outside post has an edge, 1 to 5 or not, on display in today's $100,000 notebook. We've got some turf. They were betting with both fists in the pick 6, and we'll see what shook out on the remainder of the Saturday card on the other side of this break here on Aqueduct Insider.
Now you can enjoy your favorite pro and fantasy football teams while playing the races in style as Longshots welcomes back NFL Sunday Ticket. With over 400 HD TVs, 270 individual carols, a full-service sports bar and food menu, Longshots is the place to catch all the great racing and football action. So come on out, bring your friends, bring your league to Longshots, located on the 2nd floor at Aqueduct.
Back to the Big A, MSG Plus Aqueduct Insider. The stands have quieted down. They're on the 1st floor, in fact, and certainly on the 2nd floor in the back at Longshots, and they were fun upstate. They were great over at Belmont Park, and with that in mind, we are bringing the $40 buy-in low roller contest on the right day here at Aqueduct this coming Saturday, November 28th. That is the centerpiece and the real jewel of both Holiday Fest and every fall meet. As Jason Blewett and Richard Migliore welcome you back to MSG Plus here on Aqueduct Insider from our clubhouse studios. And that is a great day, Mig. It really is like the last hurrah. It feels that way each and every November.
Well, just a tremendous, day of racing highlighted by the Grade 1 Cigar Mile, which is always a terrific race. Those mile races, it's an elongated sprint. You get the best of the closers, the best of the speedsters, which you get in Tonalist and Private Zone. And, we talked about it yesterday, too. I like that idea of that $40 buy-in for low rollers. So much action for basically a pretty inexpensive buy-in.
I may have to put you up for the $40, man. You game?
We'll split it. 20
we'll split
apiece?
it 20 apiece, 50-50?
If you'll take that chance on me, it'll give me a little confidence.
All right, I'm always confident in the MIG as we're always getting miggy with it here on the show. Let's send it back to Johnny I, who's certainly locked and loaded and ready to go as we start Saturday's 200K guaranteed late pick 4. Well over 200 G's, by the way, in the pool. And here is leg number 1 for the 2-year-old maidens.
And they're off. And it's Black Dublin out for the lead. Malibu Action is down at the rail. The Big Mo is alongside in 3rd. Kadiron runs in 4th. Lazarus Project gains at the rail into 5th. Wild Impulse is next in 6th. Far outside, Silver Romeo runs in 7th. And it's Homespun Hero in 8th. A break of 2 to Isofast in 9th. And 4 more to Musical Comedy, who trails the field in 10th. The opening quarter up in 22 and 1/5 seconds. Black Dublin on the outside, and Malibu Action down at the rail. Just in behind is a Lazarus Project in 3rd. And then it's Kadiron and Wild Impulse right together. The Big Mo is tailing off. On the far outside, Silver Romeo and Isofast as they come for the quarter pole. Down on the inside, it's Malibu Action. On the outside, Lazarus Project. Lazarus Project pokes ahead in front. Malibu Action battles on down at the rail. It's 4 lengths. Back to Wild Impulse and Kadiron. Lazarus Project narrowly over Malibu Action. It's Lazarus Project. Malibu Action. They battle on right down to the wire. It looked like Lazarus Project. A photo finish with Malibu Action.
Today's Insider hasn't been so kind to favorites. They're just 1 for 3 in the trio of races we've looked at, and a big exacta here and a near $30 winner in Lazarus Project.
Well, he ran big first time, but for maiden claim in 50, this looked like a pretty loaded field. He lugged in first time. He was lugging in again, strongly handled by Elvis Trujillo. How about how game Malibu Action was down on the inside? He did not let go for 1 second. Now, the question is this the kind of race that tears him down or builds him up?
I was happy to see trainer Tim Hills, who we like and has done a terrific job with the New York-bred turf horse Carafa, have a fairly pricey 2-year-old purchase. They paid up for him, $300,000 in Malibu Action, and we'll see if Tim can get him to move forward off a gut-wrenching and game second-place finish. But let's give the winner some credit. Joe Orsino turning back the clock a man that at one time won a Preakness and really trained the cream of the crop for Adena Springs.
Yeah, and absolutely. And Joe's he's doing okay. He had 4 seconds from 6 starters, so his horses are running well. Just because a trainer isn't winning doesn't mean they're not sending horses over ready. Maybe just not getting the bounces. Well, he got the bounce here, and this horse definitely improved from his first start.
All right, tough beginning for many, I've got to say, in that guaranteed late pick 4. Let's continue on. Leg number 2 from the Big A on this Saturday evening. Race number 7, 1 mile. This is a good one. A 3 other than $100,000 optional claimer. And yes, there was a claim. More on that in a few moments. Here's Johnny I.
Norumbega, Big Business, Res Judicata, Noble Cornerstone, all the way well. Australanker is down at the rail, racing in 5th. It's 2 lengths back to My Loot, who's 6th in the early going, and Blingo is the trailer. They cross over from the chute to the main track, and Res Judicata leads here by a half length. Big Business, Norumbega, and Australanker all together. Then Noble Cornerstone and My Loot, and Blingo is at the back. The quarter in 23-1. Big long shot. Res Judicata takes the field up the backstretch, leads by almost 2 lengths. Australanker down at the rail. Big Business in between horses, and on the outside is Norumbega. Then it's Noble Cornerstone running in 5th. My Loot on the outside, and Blingo continues to trail after a half. That was strong, 46 1/5 seconds. They move around the far turn. Res Judicata by a length and a half. Australanker now getting closer in 2nd. Then it's Big Business. Norumbega on the far outside. Noble Cornerstone is down at the rail. Blingo's in between. And My Loot will be forced to come into the stretch. Widest of all. Res Judicata. Australanker is down at the rail. Res Judicata holding the lead here. Australanker down at the rail. It's Res Judicata by 2. Australanker in 2nd. Then Noble Cornerstone in 3rd. Res Judicata looking to pull off the huge upset here. Res Judicata is 46-1. Australanker was 2nd. Then Noble Cornerstone. My Loot was 4th.
I was probably like most people, including the jockeys in this race. At least the jockey's not above Res Judicata. All right, it's 50-1 shot's going to come back any day now. He just kept finding more at $94.
Well, he was so comfortable in front. He was going along at a good pace, not a slow pace, and he just kept finding. And Kendrick Carmouche seems to get the most run out of this horse. Every time Kendrick's on him, he seems to show more speed and runs his best efforts. Today, turning for home, you knew he was going to be tough to run down.
He showed up. None of the other major players in the race did, including My Loot, who was very mildly on the outside to check in 4th, and he showed better that needed him. That was a tough way to go down in race number 7 at a short price as we check out everything else on a sunny Saturday at Aqueduct with 1, 2, 3, 5, and of course the nightcap, a New York-bred 2-year-old maiden race, race number 9.
Candy Cutie on the outside. Cotton Candy Cutie has now taken over the lead. Tough Temper is back running in 2nd. And then it's Boomerang Becky, and farther back it's Lulu's Blues. Cotton Candy Cutie gets clear now by 3 lengths. Boomerang Becky into 2nd, and moving up on the outside, Cotton Candy Cutie will take the opener. Boomerang Becky was 2nd. Then it's a photo for 3rd between Tough Temper and Barika. Alongside, Bama Bound is 2 wide, 3 wide is Dighton, and 4 wide is Morty's Miracle, and Morty's Miracle has swept to the lead. Morty's Miracle in front. Then Bama Bound, Dighton on the outside, Real Estate Rich, and 49 Watts. Morty's Miracle with a comfortable lead as he comes on to the finish. And it will be Morty's Miracle, won by almost 4 lengths. Bama Bound was 2nd. Then 49 Watts and Real Estate Rich. As the field comes into the stretch, and now Resolve grabs a narrow lead. River of Magic on the outside with Jacobs here. Long Island Express down towards the rail. They're at the 8th pole. Here's Jacobs here and River of Magic as Resolve continues to battle on. A 16th to the wire. Jacobs here now takes the lead. Then River of Magic and Resolve. It's Jacobs here by a little more than a length. River of Magic was 2nd. Resolve 3rd. And Black Friday Rush for the stretch. Ross J. Dog in 2nd. Then Indian Brute and Sanctify. Mac Hagan in front by 2. Ross J. Dog on the outside, Sanctify, and towards the rail, it's Indian Brute, Irish Cat. Now gaining some ground on the outside, it is McHagan, Irish Cat on the outside, and Indian Brute. McHagan going wire to wire, trying to, and he did by a long neck. Guaranteed on the outside of a New York Song. New York Song on the inside, holding off Guaranteed. It's New York Song now clear. New York Song getting away to lead by 3. Then it's Guaranteed. Daneberry on the outside, followed by We Did. Inside the 16th pole, New York Song to break his maiden here in the finale, won by a length and a half. And Daneberry was second with Aragonite finishing third.
We had a California Chrome opening the show. We've got a New York Song in the nightcap, Mig, and nobody alive, and no surprise, given Res Judicata and Lazarus Project in races 6 and 7. Nobody was alive into the last. Surprise, surprise, in the pick 6. 34,000. I said they were betting with both fists today. That's a nice Aqueduct one-day carryover. Now let's take out the binocs here with Cappy. And what do you think, through the binocs, of New York Song, who romped home with Aaron T. Grider?
Well, it's good to see Aaron Grider get his second win of the day. He's a guy that knows his way around Aqueduct, that's for sure. Several leading rider titles here, and I think should have a big winter. An elder statesman at this point, but still rides like a young guy.
He looks good out there as well, really in sync with this son of Posse, who got it done. They were betting a few firsters in the race, none more so than Willie's Mojo, the Uncle Mo firster, and half to blame Jim, who just didn't show up. Maybe a problem there. He kind of stopped around the far turn. Kendrick Carmouche, a riding double on the card, a $94 winner. And Aaron T. Grider brought home a pair of winners today as well. Now, in the trader column, it was a different story. We ran 9. We had 9 different trainers, including a ship-in outfit like John Service getting the money. Joe Orsino, good to see Carl Domino getting a race with McKagan, a win, that is, on the turf. And claims, a light day in the claim box. Light in regards to the amount of action or number of horses. $100,000, though, in race number 7 with Big Business. He did not run well. None of the closers really showed up. He'll try to step up his game for Rapoli Stable and Bruce Levine, as we have a pair of claims out of race number 2. And a Sunday preview as things get dark outside, and a look back at a big talent Remsen from 2 years back. Still working. The sun is set, but the action on the main track with Glenn Kozak and the track maintenance crew does not end. They will work on that throughout the night. And how about hopping over to 7-Eleven, maybe a racing form, a post parade, a Slurpee, and pay near me. An easy way, basically 2 clicks of a mouse, 2 touches on your smartphone to upload and fund your Naira.com wagering account. Very easy. Instructions, details on Naira.com as the Mig and Jason and all of you charge down the stretch. We're nearly finished with the show, Mig, but there is some racing here tomorrow, including that Pick 6 carryover.
Yeah, but I'm still thinking about that Slurpee. I might stop on the way home and get a Slurpee.
You got a long ride, too, 90 miles or so. You're going to need some caffeine and maybe a little bit of a sugar rush before you get home and watch the Rangers tonight against the Florida Panthers. Race number 8, let's talk about it. Sunday's 8th, in fact. We had the boys today. We'll get the 2-year-old state-bred fillies tomorrow in the key sense, as Frosty Margarita might just be the filly to beat from the inside post.
Turned back to 6 furlongs. She's got speed. She's got the inside. So she's basically committed to going. And I think that's the right way to go for her. She just didn't quite stay the mile, but I can see her rebounding in a big way tomorrow.
And Melodic will try to rebound from the outside post. There's a whole bunch of horses, including Frosty Margarita and Surprise Cameo, are dropping out of the Joseph Jimma.
And she got a contested pace. There was 3 horses across track. Had the perfect setup, perfect ride from Kendrick Carmouche. And you got to think him getting back on board, she should work out a good trip. I just don't know that 6 furlongs maybe doesn't play to her strength where it does to Frosty Margarita.
And taken by surprise, will get the test here for Todd Pletcher. They tried her a couple of times on the turf, but this filly who's out of Poovy, who was a good dirt runner in her racing days, really took to the main track a few weeks ago.
Yeah, she's 1 for 1 on dirt, 1 for 1 at Aqueduct, 1 for 1 at the distance. You get Johnny Velasquez, Todd Pletcher, another giant surprise from the Rapoli stable. She's going to have to improve, but why can't she?
I think she is very dangerous. Anywhere near that 5-to-1 morning line price, I think will be decent value as Frosty Margarita has to deal with the rail, and we have to deal in a very good way with Andy and Maggie, who are looking to stuff your pockets with winners and cash here tomorrow.
Thanks a lot, guys. Well, taking a look at the second race on Sunday's card and hoping that race stays in the turf, and think there's a very good chance it will. On the turf, and on the turf only, I like the 7 Tizador. Now, the 6 Accord's going to be the favorite off of a tough loss last time, and certainly he can win this race, or I should say she can win this race. On the other hand, she should have won last time. She's kind of a last time was the time horse at 7-to-1, favored here. Tizador was running in a tougher field, and I thought she actually ran very well for her turf debut. It's a race that Richard Migliore and I did on Trips and Traps, and the kind of horse that really could have run better with a cleaner trip. Not saying she would have won, but she could have been closer. She's a better horse in the turf, and she's better than she looks off that race, and I think better enough that she can beat the favorite, the 6 Accord. It's Tizador, the 7 horse for me, in the second race on Sunday on the turf.
Thanks, Andy. Well, I'm looking forward to the Sunday card as it is chock full of baby races. I love those, as I'll take a look at one of those, and it is race number 6 for the New York bred boys. One that is making his 3rd start of his career, but the first on a dry track, the first from an outside post. That is number 7, Luminary Flightneer. We saw him actually run brilliantly first time out of the box for Jimmy Ryerson. Next start, not so good on a muddy but more tiring track. So hopefully the track tomorrow will be fast and stretching out. I've always thought as though, since he's such a big, rangy, scopy type of build, that he'll appreciate a little more ground. So that's why I'm going to go for the 3rd time as a charm with Luminary Flight tomorrow. Guys, back to you.
Thank you very much, Andy and Maggie. Best of luck to your plays here tomorrow. 12-20 MIG, the first post. 34 Gs, the pick 6 carryover. The Key Sense is the featured 8th. Many features to be had, though, throughout Holiday Fest. And we talked a lot about the Cigar Mile tonight, about the Remsen that's really shaping up an outstanding field.
Now, the Remsen's always, to me, a harbinger of things to come. 1 1/8 at Aqueduct. It really starts to separate the men from the boys and what horses truly have stamina. And the way Mohaymen won the Nashua, I've got to think he's going to even improve around 2 turns. He made a very long, sustained run, a horse that looks like will have no trouble with the distance and beyond. I like Mohaymen. Obviously, they liked him a lot, too. Big ticket.
Yeah, I think $2.2 million, or give or take a couple of bucks there.
Yeah, but he's starting to justify that price tag.
And I think as we say goodnight, Keir McLaughlin, in some sort of poetic justice racetrack way, is owed a Remsen. This was a top-class field, a tough loss for Cairo Prince, but let's go back as we say goodnight and send it to Tom Durkin with a look back at the 2013 Remsen.